Hi everyone, welcome to Cards with Paige and Peggy. This is Deb Hauk. I'm not Paige or Peggy, but they do a collab every month between each other and invite some of the rest of us to join in. And they end of the month, the last day of the month, they do Christmas cards, but they have an optional theme for it. And this month was Santa and or elves. Okay, I discovered I don't have any elves, so oops, oh well. And I'm gonna put a caveat out front. I am now a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I did not use all Stampin' Up! Products because I just have so many other products, and truthfully I don't have any Santas that are Stampin' Up! So, you know, what are you gonna do? But I did the best I could. I will be putting a list of any Stampin' Up! Products that I did use, and I'll mention them as I go through this video. But I want to use what I have, so anyway, here we go. Alright, my first card. I made 5 cards, which is one of the things they like to do. This one is Santa, and he's in a snow globe. And this happens to be, I'm going to tell you all the products briefly. This is from Cottage Cuts. You saw me get this in a haul not long ago, the snow globe, and here's the Santa with the sign, which should say North Pole or something on it, but I couldn't find a stamp anywhere of mine that says North Pole. So I did color him, this whole thing, in. First thing is watercolor, Balmy blue. And it was not watercolor pencils. What I did is I actually used my stamp pad, pushed down on it, opened it up, and used the water pen, and that is like watercolor with your inks, okay? And I went around the edges first to get it a little darker, and then I filled it in with water to make it look more clearish. I did put these waterfall stickles on the 3 dots there, a little bit on each of those curves, and a couple here. The rest of it was colored in with Stampin' Write markers. I did use the watercolor technique with the markers on the gold pieces, which, by the way, this is it crushed curry? Crushed curry, which works really well for gold colors, I believe. So I used that here, the background here, and here. And then on the gold pieces, I did put Spectrum Noir Sparkle Pen. Stampin' Up! Sells Wink of Stella. I just don't happen to have one of those right now. This color here is, for the bow and ribbon, is Cherry Cobbler. But the Santa's done in real red, black, and this crushed curry. And this lighter yellow is, what's the other one? The other spice. Saffron. So saffron. And this, again, is crushed curry. And then real red. So I thought that came out cute. The paper is not Stampin' Up! It's out of my stash. I believe it's Recollections and coordinations for the cardstock. And inside I stamped Merry Christmas, and that was I'm forgetting where that was from. One sec. Let me see if I can find it. I put stuff away thinking I didn't really use it, but I must have. It's not that one. I'm not sure, guys. I don't remember which. Oh, yes I do. That was a woodblock stamp, and I had bought that on Etsy last year from Mountainside Crafts. That just says Merry Christmas. I liked the loopiness of it. So I had that for a year and never used it, or maybe once last year. So that's my first card. Set that up here. The second one, okay, this one and the last one I'm going to show right after it. I sort of did them out of order. This one, again, the white background is Coordinations, the gray is Recollections, but this here is a stamp in Stampin' Up's catalog now. They're called distinctive stamps, and I use this one with the bubbles sort of on it, and it's meant to be 3D without having to do layering. It's meant to show like layering without doing the layering. So I don't know if you can see the background. It's got like bubbles and little dots and everything. It's layered, and all I did was stamp it once. I stamped it with Night of Navy ink, and I stamped it actually twice, because the stamps, I really am going to suggest to Stampin' Up that they do this as a background stamp, because this is the size. So I actually ended up stamping it twice right next to each other, and I did get a little bit of a line there in the middle, which is why I put the sentiment across the center. But I need to experiment with these more. These make beautiful backgrounds, and then next time I might use this star one. It looks like fireworks, so that should be pretty, and I might do multicolors on it. So anyway, that's what I did there, and excuse me, I did it on gray paper, but then I trimmed it, and then I put it on gray paper again. So I put the navy onto gray, because I wanted it to look like nighttime, you know, sort of night, but maybe some glowing in the background, as Santa and his sleigh were going through the sky. So there's my Santa, and that excuse me, came out of this Jen Long Sizzix. It was a stamp and framelits with stamps, it was called, by Sizzix. So here are the stamps. I don't know if you can see them or not with the glare. And then there's the framelits, and this is the one that cuts it out. I colored it in with the crushed curry. So yeah, and I put him over, like one of the bigger dots showed up on there in that area, so I just covered it with the moon. Originally I was thinking I would make that be the moon, but it was, you know, there's too much blue on it. And then these trees came out of something that's on the website for Stampin' Up. You can't get it out of the catalog. It's number 144674. It's in the clearance section, and it's called, I'm sorry, Card Front Builder Thinlits Dies. So let me show you what's in it. This was on clearance, and it's a wonderful set. It's got these trees. It's got the little reindeer, which I also used. And see, originally I was going to use the stars and the moon, but this already was a moon, so I couldn't use that moon, so I didn't use that. I ended up using the trees. There's a duo and then a single, and then the little deer here, and that's all I used out of it. But there's many other possibilities. There's poinsettias. Maybe could use that. I have another idea for that one. So yeah, you can still get that one. As far as I know, as of yesterday, it was still on the website in the clearance rack. So you could look for that. And then I just placed the trees and the little deer there. And this season's greetings also came out of that Sizzix pack here, and it just fit perfectly going across there. And then these are Dollar Tree enamel dots with the sparkle in them. They're 3 dots, and I did use Spectrum Noir sparkle pen, the clear, all over the blue background. And then on the inside I just stamped wishing you happiness throughout the holiday season. That is an Alta New stamp. So that's the second one. Now let me show you the 5th one, actually, because it's similar. Oh, no, hang on. I'll show you that at the end. Okay, the next one, Coordinations white cardstock. This is a piece of green Recollections cardstock, but I used various washi tapes over it from this tube, which was Christmas Noel from Recollections. I probably got it on sale last year. After Christmas, I'm sure. It says it was $14.99, but I probably got it like 60% off at the end of the year. I don't know. So I put that all over it. These two are out of the Blended Seasons matching framelits, the Stitch Seasons framelits, which I've been showing you. They are available August 1st for you, and the item number is going to be 149013, and they look like this. The only piece on here that actually cuts out something in the stamp set that goes with it is this right here, which is a bell, and I didn't use that. I used 2 of these, and I cut them out of cards, and the next 2 cards you're going to see how I use the other part of it. So they're stitched around the edges, and then this Santa, because we're doing Santas, you know, is a retired Stampin' Up! Punch Santa hat that I just did out of the white cardstock. I got that at a yard sale, guys, but it's Stampin' Up! It was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator getting rid of her retires, and I got that before I was going to be a Stampin' Up! Or maybe I either had just joined or it was right before I joined. I can't remember. This bow is also out of that set, and it's right here. And I did that in first red, and then I thought it was too red, so I did it again in white and popped it up. And the Santa hat pieces are all popped up on Stampin' Dimensionals. And I know we have minis and stuff, and I do use them. In fact, I did use a mini on that little cap, but the rest of this I used either the regular size Stampin' Dimensionals or the edges. The edge pieces. So that's bumped up, and then inside the Merry Christmas is from the Blended Season stamp set, which you've seen me use before. I love that font. It's beautiful. And the Ho 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 came out of Labels of Love, which also is still available. It's right down here. And these are meant to go with the everyday label punch, which is also still available. But I didn't use the punch this time. Okay, so that's that one. Oh, and the flourishes came out of the stitched. I can never get this. That Stitch Seasons framelits. Okay, got that one. Okay, so that's that one. I thought that was cute. Ho ho ho. Merry Christmas, and it's just the Santa hat. So that's that one. And then the next 2, I used the negatives from the red and the green here. So what I did when I punched them is I made a card base, I laid it out flat, and then I ran it through my die cut machine, made sure I had it centered. I used the purple tape stuff, you know, or like painter's tape or something you could use, low tack tape, some kind of low tack tape, and tape it down once you get it centered properly so that your window is even. And then what I did is I used another negative, the positive side out of a white cardstock, and I think I still have that one left to use, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, this Santa is from, I got it at Tuesday morning, and it's a Stampendous Santa set. Here he is, holding his present. I colored him in with the Stampin' Write markers in Real Red, Old Olive. I think this is, hang on. Something pink. Nope, not Blushing Bride. The other one. One sec. Sorry. The Petal Pink, because the Petal Pink is more of an orangey tone. So it's, to me, it looks like a flesh tone of sorts, of one color of flesh anyway. And then we have black, and then the blue is Pacific Point, and then for the silver bow, I used a Sharpie permanent marker in silver metallic to get the bow. And this piece of plaid paper is out of the Under the Mistletoe collection that is available now. It's the reverse side, I think, of the poinsettias on the other side. And then over here, just to thicken it up a little bit, I say, may all your holiday dreams come true. And I am not going to remember where I had that from. Okay, that came from, forgot I used that. That came from this Lawn Fawn set here. May all your holiday dreams come true, and that's called Christmas Dreams. I got that last year because of the kitty and doggy near the fireplace, but I haven't used it yet. That's the first time I used that sentiment. And then I just put white down here so people can write whatever they want. So I thought that was cute. Oh, and on the front, I used the other blocks, the Believe, the Santa Sleigh, and the Rudolph. I used Versamark, and I used, I don't have Stampin' Up! Embossing powder yet, but I had this clear Recollections kind, and I did use my Stampin', what is it called? Embossing Buddy, and that's from Stampin' Up! I had gotten that last year. Really didn't know how to use it, but I've been watching a few videos, so I rubbed it all over the front, then put my Versamark down, which Stampin' Up! Does sell. Then I opened the card like this and put my embossing powder, when I had a scrap paper under it, put my embossing powder down, then held it like this and tapped it off, and made sure there wasn't some laying everywhere, and then I used my heat gun and embossed it, and I think it turned out good. I was really happy with that. Okay, so that's the fourth one, and the last one used another negative space from the green on this one, and I had another, actually the first or second one of the Bokeh print, the background-y type print. I had done on gray also. It was a different gray paper though. It has more texture to it. With the blue, the navy, night of navy again. I had stamped this twice, so I again just colored the moon with the crushed curry. I used the Merry Christmas out of the Blended Seasons, and I did it in night of navy. Again, I had enough scrap left still of the under the mistletoe. The back of this is the pine cone paper. They look like this. And here's the trees. You can see I cut them out. And I liked that green paper because it looks like it has a little snow all over it. So I don't know if you can, are you seeing that? Yeah, there we go. So I used that both. But this time, I couldn't find the tan paper scrap that I used. It's amazing how stuff disappears around me. And it's just a small area. But anyway, so I found a piece of brown scrap, and it's not Stampin' Up! I don't know what it is. Anyway, I bumped up this part. I rounded it and bumped it up. The gray, I actually glued onto the front around the edges, so that it's permanent there. This is bumped up, this is bumped up, and this tree is bumped up. These are not, they just are glued onto the tag part here, so the top of them is bumped up a little, and this little deer is kind of under this tree here a little bit. So there's two deer. And how I did this one, this is the way it faces normally when you cut it out, but I turned the paper upside down and cut it out so it's facing towards the other deer. So that's how I did that one. And then I just put two Dollar Tree dots up at the top. And then on the inside, I showed you this is glued on. And then I had another piece of white cardstock. And this is an Altenew. And I stamped that in Night of Navy. Wishing you a holiday filled with all the things that bring happiness to your life. So that is it. Those are my 5 cards. I really enjoyed making them. This was a lot of fun today to make these cards. So yeah, let me know what your favorite is. Do you have one? And also, if you would like a tutorial, I'm not going to say on this one because this took me a while to do, and it's not Stampin' Up! Except for the inks and markers used. I will just say on this one, again, with those cottage cuts dies, make sure you keep every little piece and put it together before you actually color it, and make sure they're in the right places and all that kind of stuff, okay? But any of these that use the Blended Seasons or the Bokeh Dots, let me know and I'll be happy to, which would really be these, well, this one too, because I have the Blended Seasons on there, although this is retired. So yeah, if you'd like me to show you how to make any of these, let me know. And I guess that's it, guys. To save time, I'm just gonna, I already showed you all of what I used. I'm gonna put the item numbers below the video somewhere for everything that I use from Stampin' Up. I will not do that for the other companies. Their products are great, but I don't work for them. I'm not paid. I bought everything with my own money, except Stampin' Up. I do get some benefit now, although some of these things were bought prior to me becoming a demonstrator, independent demonstrator. Okay, guys, have a wonderful day. Go check out Paige and Peggy and anyone else that puts a link below Paige or Peggy's videos saying that they're participating as well, and check out what they've made. We've got some really talented people in this YouTube community, and be sure to check them out. Okay? Talk to you later. Hugs, love, and peace.